So they've already got a Blood-Right stun combination that is really strong. This is likely the offlane Bloodseeker for Masaros, but we have seen support pause 5 Bloodseeker as well. That could be a possibility for Motivate.Trust to flex it around. I don't think it really fits Jackie's playstyle. I mean, it could. It could be an aggressive pause 1 if they wanted to, but it does feel like Jackie excels on heroes that can be aggressive and scale a bit better. Bloodseeker is not really something that scales into the ultra late, so they're likely to give Jackie something else to keep that presence towards the late game if it does drag on.
Going back to the way of Polaris though, like I am very glad to see like the Ember Spirit is on their side. Like, again, Mac saw him yesterday on this hero. He's always been quite spectacular on the Ember Spirit in particular, and it does kind of instill confidence in me knowing he's got that comfort pick and one of those signature heroes for himself in that mid lane. So very intrigued to see how they go with this draft, but you can already see Polaris, they're making sure they're able to fight early. Like the DP Terrorblade last game, it's a very strong combination, but it takes time. And you've got to rotate around these very long cooldowns of Metamorphosis and Exorcism. This time around, Ember, Pango, Mirana, they don't really have cooldowns. Problem is though, you're against an Abaddon now who's going to be able to purge off all those disables. And you've got the Jackie Gyrocopter, which I think I was mentioning earlier, he was playing a lot of Lifestealer and a lot of Medusa. Gyrocopter is kind of the third hero he's been spamming a lot as of late. And I think we also spoke about in the last series, but Gyrocopter has a very, very high win rate right now on the pro meta.
It really does. Its flash farm is super good. You have some flexibility in lane. You could opt to go for Rocket Barrage if you want to be more aggressive. Generally, Flak Cannon still allows you to have really good presence, especially against a lot of the dominant offlaners. Like, you can just sit back, flak, get your last hits, not really worried about being harassed out. Polaris do go into the Lifestealer themselves, so they bring out the Lifestealer on their side. You do have some strong combos, Infest on Ember, Infest on Pango, even to the Mirana. You can kind of play that aggression. Into the Gyrocopter, on paper, the Gyrocopter has the better time, but we did see the Terrorblade against the Lifestealer not work out for Polaris. So they could kind of play around this quicker aggression. As you mentioned, their entire draft isn't reliant on cooldowns, isn't really reliant on super big item spikes. They just need levels. Particularly Ember level 7, I think, is a really good point for them. Once you hit that point, let's say the level 7 or 8 minute mark on Mac, that's when you can run around the map, look to be aggressive, look for side lane kills. You should have your Orb of Corrosion and Phase Boots by around the 7 to 8 minute mark as well. And that should allow you to get some really good damage off. So it does line up for Polaris repairing their issues in game 1 where early aggression wasn't quite there. We'll just have to see what they do have. Looking like their offlane pick lacking for Nico. And just something to give them more control, give them more team fight. They don't have the option for Morris. That's been banned out. No Magnus as well. There is an option for Tide. But Gyrocopter, Tide lane doesn't sound particularly enticing for a Tide Hunter. So maybe having to look elsewhere for that control.
Yeah, certainly so. Final pickup here, or rather final ban out from Polaris before we can move into the final pickups. Just kind of focusing on that mid lane for Fearless. They'll get rid of the Storm, they get rid of the Kunkka. He won't care, he'll go right into the Void Spirit. And I do believe this time I can confidently say that should be a mid Void Spirit and an off lane Bloodseeker for Masaros. So a very kind of stock standard draft here from Motivate. This is something they know how to play very well. I feel like we've seen this exact same draft many, many times in the past couple of weeks, especially from this team. And they are very confident with these kind of drafts, John. I mean, they've run this that many times. It should just be second nature for them.
Yeah, they're super familiar with those timing spikes. They know what they have to do to enable Jackie to really start rolling forward with that Gyrocopter. We know what Fearless wants from his mid, so he's also looking for his level 7 timing there. Could be active by 6, but Void Spirit versus Ember, your early activity on the Void Spirit doesn't feel as amazing. It can still be impactful, especially with Lion, with an Abaddon and Bloodseeker on hand. There's a lot of follow-up damage for your jump in. Item-wise, it's not as important for you to hit, say, an early boosting item. Normally we see a null or two, maybe to rush into Kai or Yule, depending on how the game goes, and just runs from there. Key thing for Void is Ag's timing. So you're not looking for small items, you're looking for the big Ag spike. And we saw Masaros last time playing that off lane, hit that Ag's timing really well. He hit it faster than Fearless. So if you can get the same thing for Fearless in this game, Ag's up by, say, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, then you have great AoE control, the silence, there's nothing to dispel it on Polaris' side. And that's like 3 melee heroes right now. Very easy to get them clumped up and get a lot in your initiation.
Oh, couple set. Oh, they're gonna go back for the DP. That surprises me a little bit. I guess it's gonna be an offlane DP, so it's something different here. Nico's gonna take it instead, so they're gonna try and still revolve around that exorcism timing, but it's not gonna be everything. You can still kind of fight without it. You just prefer to fight with it. So I like where Polaris has gone a lot more than, say, last game around, where they were heavily reliant on having that meta and exorcism kind of off cooldown to be able to actually commit to a big team fight. This time around, you've got these really low cooldown spells, plus an exorcism if you need it. It's kind of a nice kind of cherry on top here for this dire side. Two great drafts in my opinion. I think both of them are pretty well rounded off, John, but you're the expert here. I'll ask you the hard question. Who does have the superior draft going into game 2?
I'd lean towards Motivate.Trust. I think their lineup, despite the early spikes Polaris wants, they have better control on Motivate.Trust side. For Polaris, their hold isn't reliable. Like, they have Rolling Thunder, which is still a level 6 spell, so in lane you can't expect that from Boomy. The chains from Mac, not the most reliable. That can set up for Arrow. But if you're clumped up in a wide area, if there are creeps there, you don't really have good approach angles for Polaris. And their teamfight control is limited to really just that and the silence from DP. It's not amazing. It's going to be hard to completely pin down Fearless in these fights. It's going to be hard to prevent the Abaddon from getting the aphotic shields off. And as long as those shields come off, then your initial control just kind of falls apart from Polaris. So I think Motivate.Trust has the tools to kind of fight back here.
Okay, fair enough. We'll head into a game number 2 between Polaris and, of course, Motivate.Trust. Set to get underway.
Prepare for battle.
I do kind of agree with you on that last point as well. I do feel like Motivate might have the upper hand going into this game too. Of course, momentum going to be on their side as well after game 1, and see what Polaris can do to try and force it back their way. Of course, if they lose this matchup, they lose this game number 2, they are out of the tournament altogether. Still be a respectable position they made it to, but you know, all these players, they don't want to come 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th. They are certainly looking for 1st place. So Polaris definitely trying to force this to a game number 3 and not allow their lives in the tournament to go to waste here.
Definitely. Like, this is the renewed lineup of Detroit. As you mentioned in game 1, you know, these guys have a lot of history. They'd be pretty disappointed with the reunion kind of ending here. So got to keep up that pace, got to look for that turnaround. Again, they've got the lineup to play quicker. They just have to hit those spikes. Already got out good early wards. Kind of take out the obs and Q.
Yeah, Q. He kind of trapped himself there. Nice little tree cut from Masaros to allow him the escape. In fact, it wasn't Masaros, it was Q with his own tango, but Masaros was making his way over to quell the tree down, and now CML's in trouble. Oh, how the tables turn so quickly, as they will ensure Fearless secures the first blood of the Void Spirit. Bonus gold and XP going to go his way, and it's another great start here for Motivate.Trust Gaming.
Exactly what you want to see for your mid laner. Fearless going to have a nice golden injection, lead into the bottle a bit quicker with his matchup against Max. Amber Spirit, you know, the back and forth here can work either way. You have great wave clear from both sides. You can kind of block off the damage out of Void Spirit with your Flame Guard, so you block off his magical harass. But Fearless has early mobility, and we have seen Void Spirits, if they do get a good Aether Remnant out, they get the right click damage off. It's a lot of harassment, so Max still has a back and forth to watch. Keating for both sides, in particular, is level 6. We have seen Mac and Fearless, they're willing to run around once they have that leveled spike. So whoever reaches that 6 spike first is going to look to set up, maybe for a kill on mid, then rotate out to the side lanes, build momentum that way. And since you're on a Spirit Butter lineup, for both sides, you know, that's exactly what you need to start snowballing there.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly expect Mac to be very aggressive this game number 2. Try not to allow that massive kind of momentum swing to go back the way of Motivate.Trust as we saw in game 1. So we'll have a look down at the bot lane where there does appear to be a little bit of action here onto Boomy. The chase is on, Set Zero getting a substantial amount of damage out, and eventually they might just get this as Boomy. Oh, he does have the stick charges. That should be enough. He will salve up, and in the end, Set Zero unable to secure the kill there with Jackie. In fact, now Set Zero could be in a spot of danger. But no, never mind. Nico is still only level 1, unable to use any kind of Spirit Siphon to slow him down. Definitely a very aggressive start to this bot lane already, though. As Set0 moves in again. I suppose with the Aphonic Shield, though, he is feeling very, very safe. But maybe not for long, as Boomy's come in now, the shield crash. And eventually they'll get him. Top lane, CML goes down.
Yeah, they're finding aggression in every single side. I think it does work out even for both sides, so you're just finding support trades in the end. It does feel a little bit better for Polaris. I think just getting the kills for Nico is a lot more important there. So building up on the DP, hitting that level 6 spike a bit earlier means that push does line up. For the top side, though, you do have to watch the arrow combinations. There's no real easy setup for CML, so he's going to have to focus mainly on the range creep and on the large camp to get EXP going. For the side of Motivate.Trust, with Masaris and Q on the line, Bloodseeker, Bloodright, Earth Spike combination, super strong. The damage output early on is not something Natsumi can just, bat an eyelid at. He has to be always aware of when they are posturing for that kill. And if it does come along, it's going to be really easy, even in the laning phase, for a Lifestealer to melt.
Oh, absolutely. I suppose one of the big positives, at least for CML, not having the setup there for the arrows, he can leap and find those courier snipes, and that's exactly what he just did. Q not going to allow him to have Masteros' courier, though. We'll just kind of zone him out on that line. CML just going to rotate into that Radiant Triangle, take a bounty rune, maybe just arrow a camp, and does indeed do that. I suppose that is one of the big positives about the POS 5 Mirana, is you can just inadvertently be a real nuisance by taking away those large creeps and leaving the small creeps there in the Radiant Triangle. Just be really annoying. It's Mirana, kind of one of those obnoxious heroes that just hits you a million times, maybe throws an arrow at you, and then just leaps away for free. Not really much you can do about it.
Yeah, she isn't contributing as much to lane control, though. So Natsumi's lane is shoving in her 2 range creeps here. A lot of EXP and farm, waiting for Masaros once he clears that out. And for Natsumi, his lane's not going too well. He's not too far behind in CS, but it's definitely a world of difference with him and Jackie. Jackie's Gyrocopter is at 22-7. Flash farm doesn't come naturally for a Lifestealer as well.
Blood right out. They've got the Lifestealer right now with a massive silence, Natsumi. Oh, not going to be able to pop the rage yet. In fact, it wouldn't matter anyway. It's all right clicks flying in from Motivate. In CML, it was a nice arrow attempt, but it was a very hard one to land. And in the end, Natsumi, he was just kind of screwed.
Yeah, just had no way to counterplay. And it just comes back to that Mirana support. Like, outside of arrowing, range creeps, and camps, there's not much synergy with Lifestealer. So you have to find some way to get more value for Natsumi here and try to build up on Lifestealer. Because, again, flash farming for a Lifestealer, it's not going to compare to a Gyrocopter, and Jackie has pretty much a free lane now.
And he does. As Set0, he's being harassed a little bit here by Nico, but in the end, just with the Spirit Siphons alone, you can't really force out the Abaddon. Set0 just going to salve up and move right back in after Nico. He's just not dissuaded by the damage that was flying in from this Death Prophet. If there's one man you never really want to give free farm to, it's probably going to be Jackie. Who again, does tend to be usually the top of the net worth board no matter what game he's in. Well, with a 35-12 start in comparison to the 18-5 of Natsumi. Again, it does feel like there's going to be so much pressure on Mac this game to really set a nice tempo for the team. Because right now, top lane hasn't gone the way of Polaris, and I can't really say bot lane has either. So the only lane that's gone okay-ish is the mid lane, where Mac is still behind the Void Spirit. And as I say that, they do get a kill into Set0. But even with that kill, I'd say this bot lane is one for Motivate.
Yeah, then Jackie still has space. He's still farming. You're throwing your Abaddon's body forward to ensure that happens. It's a trade-off, but it's an Abaddon kill. Abaddon doesn't really care about dying. Set0 knows what his job is, to just ensure Jackie gets farmed. They find that kill on CML once more up top. And, trading away your Mirana in that case is not the same. The Mirana wants EXP, the Mirana wants to stay alive, wants to look for aggressive outlets, and just isn't finding it.
Hex out. Masaros with the Bloodright again, getting a massive silence off, and Natsumi. Just look at the amount of damage he takes. Loses about 2/3 of his HP just instantly. It has to go back to the jungle.
I think it's one of those points in the game where Natsumi might just have to stay in that jungle, keep the farm up. He can clear it out with his passives up. He can lifesteal true, and should be much safer there. So just take away the impact of that Bloodseeker lane. Just try to get steady build up. He doesn't clear out these camps quick though. And that's where the point about the gyrocopter comes into play again. Like, you had a slow laning start, you have to recover in the jungle, but you don't clear the jungle all too fast. And that just always puts you on the back foot compared to Jackie's gyro, who still has a lane, still has camps, not being held back. And for Polaris, as you mentioned, Mike, Mac has to start making moves. His phase boots are up, so his right-click damage is looking good with a sleight of fist. They could look to start playing around that fact now.
Yeah, they're going to smoke up immediately, and like you said, it's a very desperate time at the moment, just with the way these lanes have gone. Polaris, they need to make something happen. They'll move up towards that top lane, where Masaros, he has been very dominant. You'd love to try and shut him down right here, right now. Mac's going to move in. The creeps are going to give you a bit of vision, but they've got the chains out, but the Earth Spike's going to be their Q. He'll put an end to it, and now Set Zero is going to rotate to make sure they cannot get the Bloodseeker. In fact, they'll get nothing. Absolutely naught for their trouble.
It's a ton of space for Motivate.Trust. Bot lane's just free for Jackie off the back of that. The bounce back they want with Mac getting kills just isn't there yet. And Fearless is just posturing around. He manages to steal the DD as well. Mac trying to be cheeky with the remnants, but it's not quick enough.
It's a hard play to make. Like, I'm not against Mac with that one. I know how hard that remnant play is on the power rune to make it in time, but I'm more upset for the sake of Polaris. It's just so sad to watch everything being slowly taken away from them right now. And while it doesn't look that bad yet, it is going to start getting a lot worse, because Jackie is eventually going to start hitting the jungle, which he is making his way to right now. And you're seeing the struggle for Natsumi at the moment. Like, he's trying to work towards that armlet. He has no way of clearing these stacks quickly. In fact, you can already see he's abusing the creep wave to try and get through these neutral camps. And now Fearless is going to rock up at that top lane as the Void Spirit, and they're going to try and make a play, I think, onto Natsumi. We've seen, as long as they get the blood right off, before he pops that rage, there's nothing he can do about it. But it looks like Fearless in the end, gonna back out, go back to the triangle, pops the DD rune. Not sure if that was just a time expiry, but it won't matter because he's gonna rotate down bot. Trying to force a fight. Except that he's gonna show himself in the creep wave, and that should be more than enough for Polaris to just leave the area.
If you don't manage to get the tier 1 with that first exorcism used on Nico, they do get some good damage up. You know, less than half HP in the bot tier 1. They're going to have to clean up afterwards, but you're not getting more map space opened up yet with the DP pick. And with Fearless around, he's just looking to punish it when it kind of straggles along here, stays a bit too far behind for too long. They will smoke. They're looking for more aggression.
They are cute. For an instant Hex out, Mac, he'll be a great target. They don't even need the Hex. They'll go straight into the Earth Spike, and now the Hex is out. Do they have enough damage, though? Mac, he is somehow still alive. Fearless is going to start with the chase, but Boomy's right behind to try and distract. And he'll take the attention away, as now Jackie's going to join in. Cooldown's there. They'll make sure Jackie does secure the kill. In the end for Boomy, he'll be happy, making sure Mac does get out. Still very desperate kind of plays here from Polaris.
They had to throw so many bodies out just to ensure that their Ember Spirit goes out, and they were fortunate that level 6 isn't quite up for Q. If the finger was up, that would have been a secured kill for the side of Motivate.Trust, and just building on that momentum they have. Still a lot of space being made. Masaros has a top lane to play with. Of course, that works for Natsumi as well. He's not being pressured by the supports. Lifestealer has somewhat of a lane to play with to build towards that armlet, which is not too far off, basically just lacking that recipe, so some timings still hit here for Polaris.
Chains out, they've got Fearless. This be a great pickup. The roll keeps connecting, and it does. They even managed to give the kill over to Natsumi. That's really great news here for Polaris, as they desperately needed that golden flux. Natsumi, he'll be very satisfied as now he goes on to Masaros. It's very slow Bloodseeker, but the damage just isn't there without the armlet.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Back now. The turn Natsumi? Oh, he's trapped up. Won't matter though, he has the infest. He'll be alright.
Yeah. Playing on edge there. Does still have the tier 1, so they can TP in to help him out if there is more commitment from Motivate.Trust, but they are looking down mid more. They're just keeping that mid lane in control, although...
They're still going at top.
Is under attack.
And Natsumi's going to be forced to TP out. They just wouldn't leave the man alone. He was running around in his creep, he was going for some last hits, and they would just not stop hitting the poor guy.
Yeah, they're trying to line up for a bot push now from Polaris' end. They do have the EXO ready on Nico, but Motivate.Trust, if they see that commitment, could start lining up for mid. They were getting work done on top, not going to take too long for Jackie to get that done. They will find a tier 1 trade. Polaris, though, they're the ones to line up mid next. They're ready to go with the EXO.
Well, they've got to apply the pressure right now. Like, they haven't got the time to sit back. They need to make space for Natsumi. They're going to move in now with the Exorcism. They'll try. Rolling Thunder's there. They should at least be able to find one onto Q when they get him. Not a bad kill to get, as now Masteros is going to go for a Rupture on Boomy, but Boomy will immediately TP out. Fearless had no Aether Remnant and didn't have the vision for the Yules. So set 0. He'll try onto Mac instead, but Nico is forcing them back. Masteros, he'll keep trying. Jackie's even going to join in. And in the end, they won't be able to find a kill. Well, I say that. Nico, he'll avoid the silence. It seems to be the Motivate want to try and make sure this mid-tier 1 doesn't drop, because naturally that's going to allow access to the jungle for Polaris. So rather, it doesn't really matter if they don't get kills. They just really don't want that mid-tier 1 to go down, as now they will at least find a bit of a consolation in the form of CML. They'll get something for their trouble.
Yeah, and they're starting to posture themselves around a bit. You know, Exorcism's down. Don't need to worry about that for a bit longer. And they can look to start forcing the issue. Without the Exorcism up, that's their big teamfight spell outside of Rolling Thunder. And that means that they can't really have the forward presence of that DP in this defense.
Oh, Fearless, he's in again. Aether Remnant out, right into the call down. Do they have the follow-up? Yeah, with the Blood Right. They'll silence him very nicely. Fearless, is he? No, there's no way he gets out. He will eventually fall. There's an interesting TP attempt as now the turnaround onto Natsumi with the finger out. They might have enough, and they do. They lose Fearless, but what does it matter if you get Natsumi and the tier 1 mid tower? Just really clean play here from Motivate.Trust.
Yeah, they just managed to find the best of both worlds. Polaris, they were forced to rotate in to defend. Just again, it doesn't pan out. They don't have Exo and Nico, so he can't be up forward. They had the Rolling Thunder, but without the blink, it's hard to get in a good position to get the chain stuns off. Inside of Motivate.Trust, they're finding everything. Jackie's #1 in net worth here, Mike. 8k in the bank overall. Has the Ags up with the disassembly of the Dragonlance. Going to go for what looks to be the BKB into Satanic next. And once he's up and running there, you can't stop the Jaro. Like, you have nothing that goes through the spell immunity. With the BKB up, with the Satanic up, the side gunner is always going to keep him healthy in these team fights. The Lifestealer needs so much more to match up against the Jaro. Natsumi needs a ton more farm, but it goes back to the issue of Lifestealer. He doesn't flash farm well. He didn't have a good lane, and he's just kind of forced to slowly clear out jungle creeps, which is just not ideal. You could maybe play aggressive once you have even the Sanj up. With the Sanj up and the Armlet up, you have a lot of HP. You can look to just infest on Mac, jump forward, kill the squishy backline in the Lion, in the Abaddon, and try to build up that way. But they're going to have to work extra hard to find those angles, because if you don't catch both of those supports at once, then the Abaddon can always save whoever gets jumped first.
TMO, Rupture is out of that Mirana, but he does have the backup of his team. Chains out. Arrow, not going to be there in time. Masteros, very easy to just juke that one out, and even if you got hit, Set 0 was there with the Aphotic Shield anyway. They'll try to protect that Observer Ward, but in the end, with 5 heroes around from Polaris, they won't really be able to stick around. But it kind of goes to show you the state of the game right now. Like, you need to rotate 4 heroes over to take down an Observer Ward. It's a very concerning sign.
It really is. It just shows you that Polaris can't even stream in one by one. They can't control their map without the numbers. Whereas Motivate.Trust just runs around doing what they want. They're grouped around a triangle. Jackie's got some massive stacks to clear out. Not the biggest stacks, but a decent amount of farm coming in. They could look to perhaps go for another smoke play. Nothing really to a lineup yet, and they've got full steps up and Fearless if they want to be aggressive. They don't have the best forward vision right now, though, with those D wards from Polaris. So they might just take a step back, keep the build up. Fearless is saving up for the Ags time we talked about. Not too far off, 3 parts away for the most part. And Mac is just trying to clear out side camps, side lanes where he can. Even that he can't do at peace because Motivate.Trust just show up and make it annoying.
Yeah, that they do. There's Motivate now. Group up as 3. Down to the bot side. They're going to try and chase down Nico. Nico, he may just get caught immediately. And yeah, they've got him. They've got all the lockdown in the world. And the arrow in the end is just not going to land from CML. And quite frankly, even if it did, it wouldn't have helped. They have so much damage output and control right now. Motivate, they might even be able to find Max somehow. But no, he does get the Arcane Rune and he will Remnant away.
Yeah, he's just forced to keep using these remnants as a mobility tool, though. Like, he can't fight with them. He can't go for the burst plays that we were talking about. The timings on the Ember for aggression starting to ramp up, though. BKB is Mac's next item. Just wants to stand forward and try to do as much as he can.
Set 0. Just manning up. Arrow, not going to land. Mac, he'll just keep up the good work, but now the rotations are coming in. Fearless is there with the 8th Remnant. Boomy going to try and Rolling Thunder through Mac. He's still just perfectly fine as he will Remnant back the other way, but now Jackie's showing up. It could get scary now, but Nico, he'll deal with Jackie on the gyrocopter as Mac. He'll go in for another, but no, the fingers out Q. He got the Earth Spike and the ulti. Perfect timing. And Polaris, they find nothing, John. I hate to say this, but they find absolutely nothing again.
Yeah, the trades just aren't lining up for them. It looked like they had some room to counter-initiate with the Moonlight up, with the Rolling Thunder coming through from Boomy. But it comes down to control. And we talked about this when the draft came up, Mike. You've got a Mirana with no real setup. You've got unreliable stuns in the form of Rolling Thunder and the Sleight of Fist holding down 2 heroes at most. It's just not enough to lock in something like the Void Spirit to catch the back lines of Motivate.Trust to punish an Abaddon. It's just not there. So I think Polaris has to rethink their approach. Perhaps waiting for the Blink on Boomy could help as well. He's just about 200 gold off, and with Blink and Rolling Thunder, that could make it easier to control some heroes up.
That's Ross. I mean, they're kind of looking down at him right now. Boomy, he's just going to be around to farm the creep wave, just trying to keep it forced out. Obviously understands as the Pango, there's not really much he can do about an offlane Bloodseeker at the moment. You see the way the positions here for Motivate are, John, they're already around that Roshan pit, just making sure that they've got first dibs on the Roshan when they are ready to do it. It is buying Natsumi space in that dire triangle and on the bottom side of the map. But ultimately, if you lose that next Roshan, it's so hard to take a team fight while it's up for Motivate. So I don't really feel like they can allow that Aegis to go the way of Motivate.Trust either. And now there's a smoke up. Motivate, they're going to leave that position I just talked about and go after Natsumi because they have scouted him out on the lifesteal. Q's in.
Yeah.
Rage's not fast enough. And it happens that quick.
Yeah. Check a magic trick. One moment he's there, next moment he's gone. And Polaris, with a lifestealer down, that could open up Motivate.Trust to go for that Roshan you talked about. You're just making a mad dash in. They've got the damage output with Jackie. It's not going to be the quickest, but it is still going to be fast enough without the response from Polaris. They are getting a feel for it. They get the scan off. So they could try. They have that Blink on Boom. Could try for the Rolling Thunder Blink combination.
I feel like Mac maybe have to just try and go for a steal or something. They're going to force them out though. So Motivate still paying respects to the Roshan fighting lineup that Polaris does have. Mac, start moving in, Sleight of Fist, just start chipping away at Motivate.Trust. In the end, they don't have quite enough damage to finish off that Roshan quick enough. So Natsumi, he's back up now. Invest on Boomy. Boomy's got the Blink up, so if you get a really nice initiation with that Blink Rolling Thunder, it could be enough to swing the tides your way and get that next Roshan. In fact, Q, he's a great target, but the Blink back. Instead, they're going to make the jump in on Masteros, an even better target, but he's going to BKB up and he's just going to go for a run. They can't finish him. Instead, on the side, Boomy, he has been shredded by Fearless. Masteros will claim the kill as Fearless. He's just going to juke and jive through the Roshan pit now. Nico, he'll try to move forward with the exorcism, but they're just going to turn right back around, finger up, and they just kill off Nico. In fact, Roshan takes it. Roshan wants to get involved, John. It's been 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Roshan's done nothing.
That he has. Jackie had a double damage again.
Oh.
Who would have figured? Again? How? Why?
Because, John, there was a shadow patch that made it so every time you go after Roshan, there's going to be a double damage. We talked about this last series.
It's just unfortunate. They jump in, you know, they feel like they have the angle. Q was just so quick to blink forward. Like he just saw a glimmer of that Pangolier and just avoids the initiation. That means you have to worry about the Hex. They grouped up, Fearless jumped the back line, cleaned up, and Polaris, you called it out earlier. With the 2 lives and Jackie, they just can't fight it. The Satanic's up now as well. Jackie has insane lifesteal. They have nothing to stop that. And their Exorcism's down for a minute 10. Rolling Thunder is up, but I think at this point you just think about high ground, maybe tier 2 mid or tier 2 bot is a better place to play than the top. You just have to surrender that top jungle towards Motivate.Trust at this point.
I mean, you have no choice in the matter. I think Polaris right now, just being able to hit any kind of jungle creep is a good thing for him at the moment. There's Natsumi. He's still just trying to work on towards that Eye of Skadi, but in terms of net worth, he's 5k behind Jackie at the moment. And that is quite respectable considering how bad of a laning matchup he had against Masaros. But it's tough. Like, even with that Eye of Skadi up, are you even going to be able to break the gap to really close off on Jackie and start getting those hits off? Maybe with the Infest and Rolling Thunder blink in, perhaps, but we just kind of saw that. It just didn't work.
Yeah, it couldn't find the angle, and that's the key thing. It all relies on good execution from Polaris. So far, Motivate.Trust are just making that as hard as possible. They've been split up. They're constantly just dipping in and out with their supports taking the front line there.
No,
just not giving openings.
Look at this, John Q. Having a scout out. Aether Remnant's going to be there. Into the Dissimulate. Fearless. Well, you know exactly where he's gone. Boomy, he'll try for a Rolling Thunder, but Fearless, he will have none of it. Just pops the tires immediately.
That actually counted as a spell use as well. So even if he bought back for a fight, he doesn't have Rolling Thunder for a minute 10.
Wait, what? Oh, it went on cooldown. Oh. Well, now, I mean, we might see that moment right now, John, because Jackie's walked in. Cooldown's there. Set Zero, he's going to TP out Jackie. He's dropping very low, but he has the Satanic and Aegis. He's going to try and man-fight Natsumi, but the damage is there. Natsumi, he might have the upper hand here as now they jump in. Mac is there with the control, and they've got the first life, but can they find him a second time? The cavalry is incoming. Motivate, they need to help Jackie out. Jackie, he's kind of surrounded right now, but Masaros is there, and he's got one. Nico's down onto Mac and Natsumi, and now they need to retreat. Smack is dropping too low, and Jackie, he just accidentally kills CML with the flat cannons onto the blood right. Mac?
Oh, Mac, what?
Mac?
What? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, Jackie. Oh, Jackie, he saw that. That was a very interesting non-remnant away. I'm not sure where Mac was looking, but he takes the silence. And that obviously means you can't remnant out.
God, that's massive for Motivate.Trust. Sure, they lose Aegis. They get so much more in exchange. Yeah, they're winning everything. Q, he dug the shovel. He got a bounty rune that he gave out to Fearless to top up his bottle. Like, even these small things are lining up for Motivate.Trust and Polaris. They're just not catching a break. High ground's open. No Aegis. Doesn't matter for Jackie.
No, it certainly doesn't, John. When you're 17.5k net worth at 24 minutes, I don't think he minds at the moment. But he will play it a little bit safe. You don't want to go overboard here. I say that. Fearless naturally has no fear. Will jump in quickly, but does make his way out just as fast. It does. You are starting to see those moments of brilliance, right? The glimmers of hope for Polaris here. Like that last team fight, Jackie, even with the Satanic up, wasn't able to heal through the damage output of Natsumi and Nico, and Mac for that matter. And that was without the Eye of Skadi up. And once the Eye of Skadi's there, yeah, that could have been a completely different team fight.
Yeah, definitely. Like that is going to be the big spike. Although Q.
Yeah, he's in again. He's so great with his initiations, Q. Infest's going to be there to try and help out, but now with the Rupture, Masaros is not going to allow CML to get away. And Q, I mean, I don't give the man enough props, but on this line, his initiations are just always on point. Every single time.
Yeah, they just manage to always get the jump in they're looking for. With the blink timing he always gets. Motivate.Trust now, sneaking up top. They TP'd up.
Yeah, here we go again. Boomy's been caught. Bloodright's going to be there. They don't even need the stun. However, Mac's going to jump in from the backside, but they found an even better target. They've got Nico down, and Mac will find nothing. Back jump in. Silence is out. They've got the Ags available on Fearless. Earthspike is there. Rolling Thunder to try and protect Mac, but it's not going to matter. He's still going to drop it back Boomy. He'll be the third to fall. And Motivate, they are moving very confidently into that high ground now. Polaris, I mean, Natsumi, he's just trying to farm. He knows he can't fight.
And that's a smart move. Try to use this space as much as possible. Scotty is up, as you mentioned, Mike. That could be the big spike for Polaris if they get that jump in with a Rolling Thunder Infest or the Ember Infest. But they have to watch Jackie. He actually went for Silver Edge.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that build on the gyro. It's usually the Daedalus Rush. This just allows him to go out a lot quicker. The attack speed is also a big blessing. Of course, the guaranteed crit and the passive crit is such a value add for the hero anyway. So I can't fault Jackie for just looking to play super strong while he is. Just completely bully out Polaris. And that just puts into question, are you ready for that? Do they have dusts on hand? They only have sentries on CML. So if you're not careful, even if they get a good angle on Jackie, they might miss out because Silver Edge.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, John, is a Roshan spawning soon? Because there's a double damage down at the bot rune spot right now. Every time I see a double damage rune now, I just wonder, is there a Roshan coming in like 10 seconds? Not quite. It's still a minute and 15 before we find out when it is going to be up. But he has a bottle there from Fearless. In fact, this is terrible timing from Polaris because they've smoked right into the double damage of Jackie if they took the fight. But I'm sure they've seen it now and they'd rather not fight into that. Big group up. Jackie gonna move in with the Silver Edge onto Boomy, and they've got the Silence and they've got the Aether Remnant. It may not be enough yet. Natsumi, he'll move in onto Jackie, but where's your damage output? It's just not there. And they can stop him from healing, but they've got no damage to actually need to make him heal. That's the main issue right now against Jackie.
Yeah, I think they did manage to at least Yules off the double damage, so that holds off the aggression of Motivate.Trust. They don't feel like jumping in, seeing the commitment from Polaris, but as soon as the Exorcism ends, they know there's a major amount of downtime where Nico is not going to be a factor at all. And you can just look to keep that push game going. Roshan still a ways off until we see that timer, but the high ground push can resume as they've already seen that big Exo out. They only have Rolling Thunder to worry about.
Here we go, onto the high ground. There's your pizza. Jackie's feeling confident. Fearless is in. Aether Remnants off the mark. Is it going to matter though? They got the Hex out, they've got the control, and they've got the Life Stealer. The call down will prove to be enough. And look at Boomy. He's rolling through with the Moonlight Shadow, just trying to get himself out of there. He's just driving past Jackie. He's just firing shots at him. Very hostile environment here in this map, as it looks like Q's found him anyway. Oh boy. Buyback is there, but is it going to matter without Rolling Thunder?
Sending a message. The racks are not going to hold. Without the teamfight spells, the defense is just so hard to see coming through. Jackie has BKB flying out now as well. So all that control you had previously is even harder to pull off with a spell immunity on hand, and you can't stop the gyro.
Arrow is taken. Aphotic Shield is a bit early, but again, it just doesn't really seem to matter. His Aether Remnant's going to be there. They've got the Pango. Boomy, he'll go right back to the graveyard. In fact, they found Mac. Oh boy. 22k net worth advantage. Motivate.Trust looking to find their way to the next stage of the lower bracket, which is the lower bracket finals against SMG. And they might just have it in their hands right now. Mega creeps are up. Polaris, they're going to try one last time. It's a 4v5 scenario. Smoke out. Pizza being offered here by Jackie. How about another one? Mac, he'll move in. BKB popped. Who do you go after, though? They're going to try after that Lion, but Q, he's just outrunning them. They'll chain him up. Now Natsumi, however, he's just completely surrounded. He has nowhere to go but down, and that's exactly where he does go as they call the GG. Motivate.Trust, they'll be going through the lower bracket final, and unfortunately Polaris, they'll have to leave as the 99 will be dropped once again.
Yeah, Motivate.Trust, very strong look throughout both games in the series. Game 2 was just a process for them. It looked like they knew what was going to happen. They just get their farm up the way they wanted to. They hit these spikes with Jackie. They get control of Natsumi's lane. For Polaris's part, they missed out again on a push timing with the DP. We saw it in game 1. They had the DP Terrorblade. They took the bot tier 1, which was nice. They never managed to make that move on mid. Same story here. They took bot tier 1. They couldn't go for the mid. The matchup was a lot better for Mac. He had a lot more to play with. He did manage to have some more presence in the game, but not enough to overcome Motivate.Trust's own aggression. And I think the big issue was, without that push coming through, Jackie just got so much farm. He just AFK farmed for basically the entire game, built up. And it's another set of perfect games for Masaros and Jackie. Like, they go 8-0-14, 9-0-8. Unfortunately, Fearless died twice, but he's the fearless guy. You know, he doesn't care about dying. So that's fine for him, but
to be fair, John, last game, Fearless was the one with the perfect game. So I think Masaros, who you left out last game, even though he had 14 kills, sure, he was listening in and he wanted to prove a point. So 8-0-14 on the Bloodseeker. And like you said, Jackie, just completely perfect throughout the whole series. Not one death on his carry. So on fire right now for Motivate. We are going to have an interview coming up. Not 100% sure who it's with yet. But I'm going to take a wild guess, John, because it's always the same person. I'm going to take a guess it's going to be Fearless. Because everybody else on Motivate.Trust is apparently... I mean, Fearless was the one who initially said, I'm really afraid of interviews. Like, that's the only thing he fears is interviews. And he's the one that seems to have conquered his fear and made his way over. And the rest of Motivate.Trust, they don't want to talk to us, John. Just Fearless.
yeah, we'll see if he feels like it today. So we are still waiting for a go-ahead from our admins, but yeah, it's been a wonderful day of the second to last day of the Pro Series 8. Time flies, doesn't it? Like, feels like we just started this yesterday, and we're already here at the point where a lot of teams have gone home. We've got our top 3 teams: Motivate.Trust, SMG, and Boom Esports, and it's such a fascinating thing. Like, Galaxy Racer's gone, you know,
Yeah.
big names like that. It's like early on as well, lots of surprises. The meta has brought out a lot of unique heroes, and it's so nice to see SMG and Boom up there because they are the 2 teams that love running those strange combinations as well. So we'll see what else they've got in store. And if Motivate starts breaking away as well, like the only big pocket pick has been Dawnbreaker, right? Like outside of that, it's pretty bog standard for them.
Yeah, I think the other thing was they were running like the Pos 4 Monkey, but then everyone was kind of running it at the same time, so I don't think it was too special. I think it is pretty much the Dawnbreaker that's only really been revealed here from Motivate. Not 100% sure if that means that's the only pocket pick they have or whether they've got other picks that they just haven't needed to bring out yet. But tomorrow is your final day, so if you wanted to kind of show off some heroes that you think are very strong in the meta, I mean, you're in the lower bracket final against a team like SMG. Definitely a difficult team to have to go against, so you're going to have to give it all you got. We are still waiting on our lovely interviewee. I'm sure they're arguing right now. I'm sure Felix is trying to push somebody else onto the interview because we're such scary people to talk to, John, you and I.
Yeah, that we are. I think it's the beard, Mark. You intimidate people with the presence of your beard.
Speaking of, John, I was wondering. I was going to ask this tomorrow, but I guess I'll ask it now. The Movember thing's coming up. You know, where everyone grows their mustache, and I think it goes to... I don't even know what it goes to. I think it's some kind of cancer charity, something pretty worth investing in, right? Do you think I should? Because I've never done it. Yeah, you know me. I'm a hairy guy, right? I grow a beard and mustache very, very fast, like ridiculously fast. Do you think for once in my lifetime I should join Movember?
I think you should. Why not? It would be a stark contrast seeing the start to finish. I think a lot of people have forgotten how you look unshaved as well. So that would be an interesting experience for people to see. I'd love to see it. I don't know if I should try, because if I try to grow a beard, it's not there.
John, there's a reason I didn't ask you, John. You know, there's a particular reason why I didn't end up asking you if you were going to get involved, but you could. You know, if you want, we can have a mustache race. We can Can see who grows a mustache faster if you wish, John.
Yeah.
If you wish to challenge me.
You know, speaking of, there was a guy in chat, I think something the pheasant, asking about beard tips, but I think that's gonna have to wait because we've got our interviewee lined up. Okay, just it's Fearless, all right? Drag him, and I got some words to him.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking to
yeah,
the admin. Our production manager's messaging me. One moment. All right, good evening, Fearless. Congratulations on your victory. John is really desperate to ask you a question, so I'm going to give him the floor. John, go ahead.
Fearless, why'd you lie to me? Why'd you lie to me? You said Jackie was coming, and then it's
I don't.
you. I mean, I love you, but what happened?
I don't know. He's supposed to be here, but he's too shy. Then he just left. You know, he just left the Discord and leave it to me. I was like, what the fuck?
Fair enough. You're fearless now. You know, you've conquered your fear of interviews. First off, before anything else, I have to apologize because it was pointed out I mixed up you and Masaros on my poster because I keep thinking about you and B1 and B2, and you guys always change your name. It's like, and I mixed it up. I'm sorry. I have to let you know first. I'm glad that we're still friends. That you're not going to unfriend me because of that. Secondly, you guys make it through onto the lower bracket finals. How confident are you up against Team SMG? You've seen some of their games, you know, you've seen some of their drafts. What do you think? Are you guys ready to face off against the flexible nature of SMG's lineup?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like we are so confident at the moment.
What changed to make you guys so confident? Because John and I, we noticed you guys suddenly just looked amazing again. All of a sudden, after maybe a bit of a rough start. Can you tell us what changed all of a sudden?
It's like after we lost the match against Execration in group stage, we like talking like whole day and figure out what should be done. Yeah, and we are more like flexible on draft right now.
Okay. So after Execration, you guys lost, and maybe you weren't expecting to lose, I'm guessing. So the whole day, you guys had a massive meeting about it.
Yeah. Like
Wow.
6 hour, 8 hour.
Jeez. Was it? I mean, maybe I shouldn't ask, but did you guys get angry during the meeting? Was there some emotions? Was anyone tilted?
Yep. Yeah, it was me and Masaros.
Okay. The bananas and
always
pajamas splitting.
It's always the cause, John. I'm telling you, the cause. They're the first to get angry every time. The poor supports, they're sitting in the back. They're just trying to hide. They don't want to get blamed. Always the core players. Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious. So, outside of SMG, say you guys make it all the way to the finals. You know, you guys get another shot at winning another pro series. How do you feel about going up against Boom Esports this time? They've looked really strong. Are you guys confident about them? Like, do you guys have something in plan for that matchup, if ever?
We would love to clean swipe them.
Whoa.
Oh,
Clean sweep. My goodness.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, there's been a lot of confidence today. Did you hear the previous interview, Fearless? Did you hear what FBZ said about He said, I don't know if he meant this, but he said SMG are weak going into their matchup today. He specifically said that, and now you want to clean sweep them. So I'm loving what I'm seeing. Everyone's just angry and trash talking each other. Makes me very happy to hear it. So we're seeing a clean sweep in the grand finals, are we?
Yeah. The SMG is weak because they are not MSG.
They're not MSG.
They're not
You know what I
MSG.
mean? Yeah, you want to be good, you change to MSG. And bring the walk. They need walk here.
Bring the walkout. Oh, Fearless, I love you.
Yeah, we love you, Fearless. Is there any other questions, John? We'll let the man go for tonight. You got anything else?
I think
got any food questions?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Food questions? No, nothing in mind. I think Fearless, he needs a break, as
Yeah.
we are hearing. He's getting a bit wild. Before anything else, though, Fearless, do you have any shout outs yourself? Anything to say to your fans before closing out here?
So thank you everyone. And I'll probably be streaming in like few hours. Come and enjoy.
Well, what's the stream link? Well, what is it? How do we
I mean,
find you?
I'm in the streaming. My channel, PRT Affiliates.
Wait, what was the stream name? The account name?
Yeah, the Twitch name.
Yeah, well, what is it?
PRT.
What do you mean?
What's your Twitch channel? Could you say the channel name again?
PRT Fearless.
PRT Fearless. Okay,
All right.
got it.
Perfect. So go check Fearless out. In a couple hours, he's going live. Excellent. I'll be there, Fearless. I'll join for the stream.
Nice.
All right.
See you guys here.
All right. Have
All
a good
right.
night. We'll see you later.
Good night.
Catch you.
Good night. That was the lovely Fearless. I mean, he's always a lovely chap to talk to, isn't he, John? Fearless always gives us a good laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, poor SMG, they're just copying it today. I mean, I think FBZ started it. Now, Fearless, he's talking about MSG. He doesn't even... It just... Things have gone crazy in FC. Even I'm about to say it. In SCA, things have just gone nuts. I love it, though. I love the trash talk. I love the banter. It makes me excited every single time. You know, nothing to be ashamed of. If you think a team's not good, you say it. That's what I always say. Just tell them. Even though I'm pretty sure FBZ made a bit of a mistake and was trying to say, I know their weaknesses, but instead, you know, said they're weak. So I'm going to go with that, John. I'm rolling with it. That's it.
Yeah, I'm keen to see if SMG can prove them wrong, because you know SMG is a team that has copped so much from its own fans and from the viewer base as a whole, right? But they always prove them wrong. So maybe this gives them energy. Maybe this makes them rise above the challenge and overcome those expectations and surprises. Who knows? That could just fuel mid one to channel in God one again and just overcome.
I know mid one gets motivated off this kind of stuff. I mean, you can see it. He's that kind of person. He loves people trash talking him because he's just going to perform 20 times better when you do it. And that's what we love to see. That's why I love hearing the banter. Still with that, John, we are going to have to head off. We've got a very long night ahead. Tomorrow, of course, the grand finals and lower bracket finals are on. Same time, 7 p.m. AEST, which is 5 p.m. SGT. Excuse me. So if you are around, 5 p.m. Singapore time, we'll be here for the lower bracket finals into the grand finals. Should be a very exciting day. But till then, it is MLP Dota and the lovely JohnXFire, and we'll see you all again tomorrow night, same time, for some more great SCA Dota. See you then.